Okay, this is lesson 105 in Algebra 1, factoring by grouping. This is a very short lesson, so you should be able to get through it pretty quickly, and it's not too terrible. What we've got is called factoring by grouping. So what we're going to be given here is a long list of terms, and what we're going to do is we're going to try to simplify this by doing some grouping here. So it's very similar to what we did last time, but we don't have the fractions. There's no equal sign here at all, so that makes it nice. So we're just factoring, we're not trying to find a solution. But what we're going to do is we're going to look at terms that have things that are common. Like both of those terms have A's, and both of these terms have B's. Okay, so if we can find terms that have something in common, at least a letter in common, then we put them together. These are already together, side by side. And then these are already together side by side. If they weren't, we'd have to kind of manipulate things to make sure that was the case. So because these are together, we don't have to move anything, but we just take what's common to both and put it outside. Make a parenthesis and write everything that's left. Okay? And we're going to do the same thing here. We have a B that's common, and we're going to write everything else. Okay, then we take what was common, what we pulled out, in this case the A and the B and the sign, and we're going to put those together. Okay, if this would have been a negative sign, it would be A minus B. And then we put everything else right there. Okay, so this occurs and this occurs. And notice this and this are the same, so we can just bring them together as one unit. So we don't write it twice, we just write what's in the parentheses once if they are the same thing. Alright, so now that you've got that, let's keep going and look at another example. So we have AC plus 2AD plus 2BC plus 4BD. Okay, so let's look and see what we have in common with each other. Okay, so what do we notice? We notice these two both have A's, but we notice this one has a C and that one has a C. So we could put these two together, or we could put these two together. Well, let's just leave it the way it is, since we don't have to rewrite anything. Okay, so let's pull an A out. And let's look here. Both have a B, so we'll pull the B out. And what do we have left? 2C plus 4D. Except, now that I look at this, this has a 2 and that has a 4. Well, I can pull a 2 out of there, can't I? Let's look what happens. If I pull a 2 out, what am I left with? A C. If I pull a 2 out of here, 2 goes into 4 twice. Okay, so I can even simplify it more than that. Alright, so there is that one. Let's get these out of the way. Now, again, I put what's not in parentheses together. And these two are the same when they're the same, and only when they're the same can I just write it one time. And I'm done. Okay? So I could have done it that way. I could have done the first and third terms. It really wouldn't have mattered. In fact, let's go ahead and do the other way that I said let's not do, just because it was already set up right. Let's just do it. This is a rather short video, and I know you don't have anything to do except listen to me ramble. So AC plus 2AD plus 2BC plus 4BD. Alright, so when we did this a minute ago, we factored out the A's and we factored out the B's. But let's take this and put those together. So we're just going to rewrite it with that third one put in the second place, and then we'll do the same. We'll leave this there and this there. So I just moved this one there. So what do we have common with that? We have C, and then we have an A plus 2B left. And what do we have here? We have a D here and a D here, so we're going to pull out a D. We have a 2, and I can pull out a 2 there. So that's leaving me with A plus 2 goes into 4 twice. Okay, so I have C plus 2D And then these two are the same, so again, I just write them one time, and I get the same answer either way. So it doesn't really matter which way you decide to go with this, you're going to get the right answer. All right, so that's lesson 105, 5 minutes, 16 seconds.